各位观众及听众朋友，大家好，我是PwC台湾财务顾问部门董事周荣玉。日本是全球第三大经济体，也是台湾科技产业重要的合作伙伴。日本市场在台湾的并购从未缺席，包含鸿海去并购 Sharp、联电收购三重富士通半导体、西堂收购松下半导体，以及近期台积电与 Sony 合作在松本新建晶圆厂。我们今天很高兴邀请到 PwC 日本财务顾问部门合伙人 Yoshio さん，以及 PwC 台湾财务顾问部门的副总 Urano さん，有两位日本的专家来跟大家来分享日本并购以及台日并购的最新动态。两个日本专家会跟目前的这个听众来分享近期的市场的概况，也针对于台湾的企业想要并购以及投资日本市场常会发生的关键议题，提供相关的建议与分享。就让我们来欢迎 Yoshio さん以及 Urano さん。
Hello everyone, my name is Norihiko Urano. I have been working for PwC Taiwan deals team from 2020. My mission here in Taiwan is to make M&A opportunity between Taiwan and Japan. So I would like to support your M&A opportunities. Today, we invite one guest from PwC Japan. We would like to discuss with him about the Taiwan-Japan M&A related topics.
Hello, everyone. 大家好。I am Yoshio Tsutsushio, working for PwC Japan M&A Advisory Partner. I am TMT, Industry Team Leader. TMT means Technology, Media, and Telecommunications. As for my background, I used to live in Taiwan from 1986 to 1991 during my middle school and high school period. I truly love people and cultures in Taiwan. After finishing university, I started working for NEC, which is a Japanese electric company, for 8 years. And after that, I've been in the M&A advisory space for almost 15 years, focusing on technology, cross-border M&As.
Let's get started the discussion. Firstly, Taiwan team would like to ask a question to Japan team. Can you explain about the recent M&A trend in Japan?
Sure. Please take a look at this chart. It shows the number of acquisitions by Japanese companies over the past decade. The orange is the acquisition of the domestic companies, and the yellow is acquisition of foreign companies. Both domestic and overseas acquisitions are growing by around 10.4% annually. In Japan, there was a huge earthquake in 2011. And that is when Japanese companies started expanding the business footprint outside Japan using M&As. In 2020, it temporarily decreased by 8.5%, especially in cross-border deals due to COVID-19. But in 2021, Japanese companies' acquisitions recorded the highest during past 10 years. I think there are three reasons why M&A is continuously booming in Japan. Firstly, as I mentioned, Japanese companies continuously expand their global footprint through M&As. Secondly, Japanese large companies are replacing their group companies. And also lastly, private equity funds, PE, makes Japanese M&A market more active. Firstly, Japanese companies continuously expand their global footprint through M&As. Please take a look at this table. These are Japanese companies' in-out acquisitions in 2021. In-out means from Japan to outside Japan. During this COVID-19 situation, Japanese companies continuously acquired foreign companies, especially in technology industry. The yellow highlighted deals are categorized as TMT, technology industry. Secondly, Japanese large companies are replacing their group businesses. For example, Hitachi is the one. they acquired new businesses such as cloud software engineering companies or power transmission companies outside Japan. And in addition, they acquired in Taiwan, they acquired Yonda D&D. Instead of that, they also divested their traditional subsidiaries such as chemical, metal, construction materials businesses at the same time. Lastly, private equity makes Japanese M&A market very active. This graph on the left-hand side is the PE's acquisitions in the world, and the graph on the right-hand side is the PE acquisitions in Japan. Globally, PE acquisition is increasing, and Japanese PEs are also very active. Apparently, private equity eventually will make exits after a certain time after they acquire businesses. So there'll be more M&As or IPOs in the market. Next, I'd like to ask questions to Urano-san about the M&A trends in Taiwan and Japan. Can you explain about what's happening in M&A markets between Taiwan and Japan?
The graph on the left-hand side is the number of acquisitions of Taiwanese companies by Japanese companies. It means Japanese company acquires Taiwanese companies. And the graph on the right-hand side is the number of acquisitions of Japanese company by Taiwanese companies. It means Taiwanese companies acquire Japanese companies. As Taiwan and Japan have a good relationship for a long time, M&A activities between two countries are stable for these 10 years. As for industry, from Japan to Taiwan, number 1, technology, number 2, energy, and number 3, industrial product. Japanese companies in these industries frequently acquire Taiwanese companies. From Taiwan to Japan, technology-related Taiwanese companies frequently acquire Japanese companies. These are notable acquisitions by Japanese companies. From the technology industries, Toshiba and Nidec acquired Taiwanese companies. This is energy sector. JERA, Marubeni, and Mitsui acquired Taiwanese companies. And this is the industrial product sector. Hitachi acquired Taiwanese companies. These are the notable acquisitions by Taiwanese companies. Honhai, UMC, and Nuvoton acquired Japanese companies. Yoshio-san, what kind of impact TSMC's market entry will give on the market?
Japanese government has a strong concern about the Japanese semiconductor industry. Please refer to the chart. This is METI's presentation material about semiconductor. METI is the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry. So in 1990, there are so many Japanese strong players in the semicon industry, but in 2019, many players already withdrew. Japanese companies' presence is very limited now. Given the situation, it is assumed the Japanese government would invite or host more Taiwanese semicon fabs and related players other than TSMC's in new fabs in Kyushu. Kyushu is the southern part of Japan. Urano-san, you spent about 2 years in Taiwan, and what is the difference or similarities about M&A markets between Taiwan and Japan?
Firstly, let me talk about the differences. In Japan, when the company owner sells the company, normally they arrange a competitive bid and try to find the best price. On the other hand, Taiwanese owners regard the company as a child, and they don't want to share the M&A information with many people. Most transaction is one-to-one negotiation basis. Taiwanese owners are basically open-minded for the discussion. If our proposal is attractive for these companies, so relatively it is easy to arrange a meeting with them. Next, let me talk about the similarities. The industry is very similar. Technology, energy, and financial service, these are the main industry which Taiwan and Japan M&A often occurs. In addition, both countries' governments support the expansion into Southeast Asia. When there is a good target in Southeast Asia, Japanese and Taiwanese companies sometimes become competitors. Taiwanese and Japanese buyers would like to acquire the same company. Okay, when Taiwanese companies acquire Japanese companies, what should they take care?
Thank you, Urano-san. Please note the following 4 points when Taiwanese companies acquire Japanese companies. Number one, compared with Taiwan, there are many competitive bids or auctions in Japan. In addition, attractive targets require a premium price when you acquire Japanese companies. Number two, foreign investment regulation. That is very important. The foreign exchange law was amended in 2020, and foreign investment regulation became very strict in certain specified industries. Number three, cross-border M&A under the COVID-19 situation. Recently, all the M&A process are online or web basis, including management interview and site visits. Number four, almost mid to small targets in Japanese companies or management, they do not speak very good English or Chinese. Also, in addition, the M&A related discussions and contracts are very complicated.
Thank you very much, Yoshio-san. And this is the last question. What kind of support PwC can do about M&A?
Okay, so our PwC team provides financial advisory services to both the buyers and the sellers. So PwC as a whole provides a one-stop service from entry to exit. In other words, from strategy formulation to PMIs.
Thank you very much, Yoshio-san. PwC Taiwan and Japan work seamlessly together now. We look forward to working with you. So please feel free to contact us.
谢谢 PwC 日本合伙人 Yoshio 上以及 PwC 台湾副总 Urano 上的分享。新冠疫情影响到商业活动，但日本市场在2021年的并购案件数年成长率达到 13%， 案件数达到3900多件，创下历史新高，显示在日本成熟的一个经济体下面，企业并购已经成为企业发展不可或缺的重要手段。观察到像是 Hitachi、Panasonic、SoftBank 等大型的企业，在2021年的时候，也是透过海外并购来达成新的成长曲线。同时间，也不少大型的企业透过处分非核心事业而达到聚焦精实的发展策略。此外，私募基金在日本企业也扮演了非常重要的角色，并购市场相对活络，透过了私募基金所带进的资源来重塑企业，而达到了改善企业财务体制的一个目标。我们再回到台湾以及日本之间的并购以及投资，过去都呈现一个稳定发展的一个态势。今年在台积电宣布跟 Sony 来合资新建晶圆厂之后，将会成为日本半导体发展的一个重要的转捩点。未来如何深化彼此之间的合作，如何在品牌、技术、产品、应用面来扩大既有的合作关系，会是双方切入台湾以及日本市场的一个重要的策略重点。对于台湾的企业想要并购日本或投资日本公司，两个日本的专家也提到，现在的日本的并购市场非常的竞争在价格上需要更积极，买家需要提供更有竞争的一个出价。此外，台湾跟日本在语言跟文化上面的差异仍然有努力的一个地方，这也就是 PwC 日本跟 PwC 台湾可以共同协助来解决并购过程所遭遇的大小问题。透过我们的实战的经验，来协助各位在投资并购过程当中，财务、税务、法律、人力资源面等关键的风险，提供了一个整合性的一个服务方案。 而讲者Uranoさん已经加入 PwC 台湾财务顾问服务团队，可以在第一线来服务想要发展日本事业的台湾企业家。今天再次感谢 PwC 日本合伙人Yoshioさん以及 PwC 台湾副总Uranoさん的分享，希望今天所探讨的日本并购以及台日并购的主题，对各位听众与观众有所帮助。谢谢大家的聆听。